Thank you, first of all, for inviting me here. I'm very honored to come here. And it's interesting that somebody just talked about trauma, because we are dealing, of course, in family constellation also with trauma, as she said, with transgenerational trauma. But first I want to say that maybe 2 years ago, little more than 2 years ago, I experienced myself the biggest trauma of my life, which is that my beloved wife passed away very suddenly in an accident. And so I know from first hand what it means, what a trauma is, and I know what helps and what doesn't help. And I can tell you what really helps is there's one thing that really helps, and that is love. Not only the love I receive from other people, so also the love I receive still from my wife, the love I receive from my master, and the love I feel for my master and for my wife. And I can tell you that's the only thing that really works. And in my work, this is the most important thing, whatever method I use, whether it's family constellation or something else. The only important thing is to help people to make an experience of love in the work. Everything else is meaningless. Scripture, talking, knowledge, nothing matters. And so I was thinking about the title of this conference, Science and Non-Duality. So for me, non-duality is love. And for me, this is the right word for it, actually. So for me, I would call it love and science, because love has to be in the first place. Science is a servant to love. Love is the higher thing, and science is the service. So science cannot understand what love is, but lovers can understand what science is. So this is to put things in the right perspective. Love basically is a mystery. No scientist can ever detect it or figure out what it is. So the only thing to know about is through an experience. And if you experience love in your life, then you have experienced something. If you haven't, you missed your life. So for me, that is the only important focus one should have in life, is, am I moved by love, or am I moved by ambition, or by fear, or by something else? So, but actually I'm not supposed to talk about family constellation, but wait, it's coming. So, family constellation is, I'm working with people since 1982, and I discovered family constellation in the end of the 90s as a very helpful method, because it is a way of bringing people in contact with love. And especially me, I'm usually by nature a very critical and judgmental person. And family constellation helps me to move beyond judgment. For example, if I look at somebody and I don't like that person, then I look because I don't see everything. But when I see this person, and I see not only this person, I see this person's mother and father, and I see this person's family and their grandparents, and I see what happened in the life in the past. Without doing anything else, suddenly my heart opens. So love should not be an effort. It's not something that you should try, because the moment you try to love somebody, only the outcome is fake. Fake love. You cannot try to love. Love has to be spontaneous, otherwise it is not real. So if love is real, it happens naturally by itself if your understanding grows, if your awareness grows. If your meditativeness grows, then love happens spontaneously. So if I look at somebody and I understand this person's family system, this person's background, this person's life, suddenly I find myself loving this person without doing anything else. It happens naturally, spontaneously. That is magic. And that's why I like to do still family constellation, because family constellation helps you to feel and experience that. Now, of course, there's a lot to say about love. Of course, naturally, the first love we experience in our life is towards our parents. And when you see a mother and a child, it's amazing the energy of love you see there. Unconditional love. From the mother to the child, from the child to the mother. And that has its special beauty. And it is very powerful. That's why, as Julie just mentioned, when a child is separated from a mother, it cries. You never get to see anybody as angry as you can see a child. Because it's a powerful force within. So anger is not against love. Anger is part of love. So anger is never the opposite of love. It is part of it. It's included in it. That's why it's beautiful to be angry. Not like some spiritual people think anger, one shouldn't be angry. No, not at all. Anger is part of it. And that's what actually it means, to include everything. That's what love is. It is inclusive of everything. And then there's no repression. So, this love between mother and child is very powerful. It is very unconditional. But it is very blind. It is a biological force. It is not a choice. The mother doesn't choose to love the child, and the child doesn't choose to love the mother. It is a given factor. But it has its beauty. And in a way, in life, when we fall in love, that's what we seek. We seek that union that we once had with our mother. That's what basically falling in love, what it means. Now I have found my ideal mother. That gives you that accelerated feeling. It's like a wish to go back to the paradise you once had. But there's no learning in it. Basically, the learning happens when we learn to move beyond the bonding love, into what we call a conscious love. So like enlightened people say, you're born from oneness, then you lose it, and eventually when you become enlightened, you find it again, but on a different plane. So that's why enlightenment is like finding let's say, your child again. It's like innocent like a child, your original innocence, but on a different plane. Now it is conscious. So our learning is to move from bonding love to conscious love. And that is not easy. For nobody. That is not easy. Even you say you love somebody, when you look deep down, there's lots of other things mixed in it. So in a constellation, it's very simple to see it. You put somebody in front, you put the mother there, or the boyfriend, or the husband, and you put the person in front, and you come in contact with some deeper truths that often we are not in contact with. So in a constellation, what shows some deeper truth shows that you're often not aware of. And that is a very simple method to do this. And how it happens, nobody knows. It's mysterious. There's lots of explanation about it, but actually, in reality, it's mysterious. You can say there is an energy field, or some people call it morphogenetic field, or there's lots of scientific explanation, but deep down, basically we don't know. And I like to leave it as that. Because not knowing is beautiful. In fact, when you relax with not knowing, you're very close to love. If you want to know, you're very far away. You move far away. If you relax with not knowing, you're very close. So, of course, in our life, a man seeks a woman and a woman seeks a man. And there's a biological pull. Because like two polar opposites attract each other. And the more different you are, the more attraction is there. And the closer you come, the more you lose attraction. Then you need to separate again. Then you have attraction again, then you come together. Then you lose the attraction, then you separate. So there's a movement like this, which is a natural movement. And we all destroyed that beauty by staying with one person your whole life, fixed, working together, living together, doing everything together like this. Then all the joy on the beauty of that movement is lost. So that's why people, when they stay too long together, they don't feel any more attraction. No? Or she used to say, if you see a couple walking, you know immediately if they are husband and wife or they are just met. When they're just met, they look excited. When they're husband and wife, they look tired. So the freshness of love is maintained by allowing separation and coming together. And separation and coming together. And for that, polarity is needed. Now, what a man needs to learn to look at a woman and appreciate her difference, that she's the polar opposite. Now, that's what we don't know. A man says, the woman, why is she so emotional, irrational, illogical? Yeah, but if she would be then not like that, then she would be like you. Then she would be not a woman, she would be a man. Then where is the attraction? So man has to learn to appreciate the difference, and a woman has to learn to appreciate the difference. Not want the man not to be so much in the head, more feeling, more law. He's not, he's a man. So he's more in the mind, he's more logical. And to learn to appreciate that. That is the learning in relationship. "10 minutes, yes. So, this is one of the things we can learn in relationship. How to appreciate each other's differences. And the beauty of that is, you can love somebody whom you cannot understand. That is beautiful. And most conflicts in relationships come because we want the other to understand you. Why? If you can let go of the idea of being understood or understanding the other, all the energy for fighting is already diminished. The energy comes from, I want to be understood. But you can love the other without understanding the other. See, love doesn't require that. When I remember my wife Mira, she was a mystery to me all the time. She would do something, in the next moment I was stunned. I could not figure out ever what she would do. She was, for me, the most spontaneous person I have ever met in my life. Tomorrow night I do an evening in memory of her. She was an artist and an art therapist, and I brought many of her paintings. I will show her her work and her paintings. And tomorrow night, I wouldn't like you to miss it. It's really amazing. She painted her whole life, and she was also guided in her art by the master, by Osho actually. So I learned a lot from her, about love. About loving somebody and loving something that initially irritates you. Because I'm a German, and this disorder kind of can irritate me, and she was very chaotic sometimes. And then if you love a person, then you start learning to love that which in the beginning you didn't like. So that's your growth in relationship. You learn to love that which initially you didn't like. So that's a teaching, and that's a learning about love. And that's why we learn in relationship a lot about love. But of course, love is not a relationship. That is also good to remember. It's just a lesson to learn something about love. So, before I only talk, I want to also give you a little taste. So I want you to close your eyes a moment. And I would like you to think of somebody maybe a partner, present partner, or former partner, or an important person in your life. I want you to think about somebody like that. And then you just, with your eyes closed, you imagine this person stands right in front of you right now, in your imagination. And then you look at this person, and you see the person, and you see something else which is behind that person, something bigger than this person. Like a light or like a big energy which is behind this person. I want you to see that at the same time. And then in your heart you say to this person, yes. I love you as you are. Exactly as you are. And I love that which guides you. And I love myself, and I love that guides me. And feel if you can say that. And notice how it feels to say that. Okay, and then you take a big breath and you come back. What did you notice? Love is only a moment, and you never know about the next moment. That's why it is so precious. Love is only a moment, That's why it's not a relationship. It may happen in a relationship, but it is only a moment. And that's all you got, a moment. That's why never miss that moment. Of course, even so, it's still painful when there's a separation. I cried many months. But at the same time, I must say I feel very grateful that I could spend so many years with this person. That's my choice, no? I can feel miserable that she's gone, or I can feel grateful that I had these moments. And that's a lesson. You always have only a moment. And your life is like this. Maybe you go out that door and finished. You don't know. Just this moment you have. You may go out this door and you're finished. How do you know? So to live like that, that is what I got or learned from Osho. And that for me is the teaching of the Master, to live moment to moment, fully, totally, intensely. Nothing is left. So he used to say, burn the torch of life from both the ends together. So it's not at all about living long. That's absolutely unimportant. It is about living totally. Of course, I still have to learn that, like we all still have to learn that. But that is the task, no? To be so intensely in the moment that there is nothing else. And then there is no mind also. Because if you're so totally in the moment, the mind is not there. The mind is there only because you're not total. You're not doing it totally. That's why the mind is there. If you're so total, there is no mind. There's no space for the mind to be there. That is my, let's say, my path. Thank you.